All right. Good afternoon, traders, and welcome to the Bookmap Academy meeting. This is a weekly meeting every Thursday at 4 p.m. Last week we didn't meet 4 p.m., but you typically do. Now the program, if you're new and want more information on exactly what this is all about here, then I suggest please go to bookmap.com. And then click on the More button here. And then under Community, you'll see the link here for Bookmap Academy. Click on that, and you can read through it here. Now, there's no cost to it. Anyone can join. You can apply right here. And you can start to journalize your trading and getting feedback from us. You don't have to if you don't want to. It's up to you how much you want to put into this program. We provide the structure for you, and you can take advantage of it. So there's a lot of traders in here that are taking a really good advantage of the program, and their trading has vastly improved. So I hope it's because of the Academy, but they are certainly putting in the effort, and we've seen the results. Anyway, the coaching and mentoring part of it here, so you first apply for the Bookmap Junior Academy. That's step one, and you can apply right here, like I said. And then you get a spreadsheet. You'll request it from our Discord channel, and then you'll start to journalize and mark up your trades in Bookmap. And then if it meets a quota for quantitative, which is just one per day is all we're asking, and it's qualitative though. It's good. You have demonstrated your prowess in order flow and your trading. Then you will be invited into the Bookmap Academy, and you'll continue on doing the same thing, but you can get Bookmap for free. If you double your quota, you can also get stops and icebergs for free. This is a great edge in here, and will reduce your trading costs as well. You can take it further, become a coach, and we've got a lot of members or a few members that have already made it to coach, and a few have already made it to Bookmap streamer as well. Okay, Tom and Doug are both from the Bookmap Academy. All right, so anyway, that's what the Academy is all about. We'll go through your content, and you'll see as we go through it here today. Just a couple notes in here. We have an onboarding webinar every Tuesday. So if you're brand new to Bookmap and you want to get up and running, we do it Tuesday at 2 p.m. It's in Zoom, so you can sign up. Dan has the link, and I believe we'll be able to just paste it into the chat for you. We'll get you, basically, we're going to get you up and running, installing Bookmap, connecting you to data. You will need a data subscription, and then we'll add in a instrument for each market type that we connect to. Okay, and get you up and running with Bookmap. All right, now just quickly go over some of the Academy criteria and journaling and building out your trading playbook. Okay, we talked about the quantitative and qualitative quota. Okay, that's number one. Number two is you'll be marking up and journaling your order flow phenomena, so that you understand the edge that you have using order flow in Bookmap. And then you're going to have a setup checklist, and be able to articulate exactly what you're looking for in your trading setup. And then we're looking for you to trade from the chart and journal it in Bookmap, and build out your trading playbook here. And we're looking for a progression. So the progression is something similar here from Bookmap Academy member a few years ago, back in 2023, a slowdown. This was in May. You can see all his markups on the chart here. It's kind of a little chaotic. He's new to Bookmap, and he's marking up all the order flow phenomena elements that he sees here. Okay, he wants to understand them and identify them. Now, a few months later, look at the refinement here. Okay, this is when he became Bookmap Junior Academy, and he started to refine it. He's looking for very specific things that resonate with him when he's looking for price movement in a certain direction. So now he knows all the other elements, but now it's refined. And then thirdly here, a few months after that, he's got a full-blown setup. He even has like a little schematic here of the setup he's looking for. And look at his markups now. Okay, there's only a few on the chart, but he knows exactly what he's looking for, and he's trading from the chart, and he's showing his trade management as well. So this is the kind of progression we're looking for. All right, so anyway, let's jump in. We've got Coach Stan, and let's see, is Vinny in here? Vinny, there he is. Okay, so he's already been invited to the stage. Excellent. So we've got Vinny on the stage here as well. And let's start off with Stephen. And I've got a few trades from Stephen I want to go over. So we'll bring this over and screen. All right. Okay. Welcome, Vinny, and Stephen. All right, let's get you started here. Yes.
Oh, finally.
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. So this was from today, I believe. Yeah, March 20th. And I put this one in here because I saw something in here I wanted to comment on. Now you've got your kind of picture within picture right here. And that's your kind of higher time frame here. Or no, I'm sorry, where you just got hit and got stopped out. So now this is buying to enter here. Is that correct? Right in here?
Yeah,
Okay.
correct.
Okay. So yeah, I've got some comments on that immediately, but like why don't you walk through the trade, how you saw it, and your decision making?
Well, this was just a sim trade. Basically, what I wanted to document here was that I was a bit distracted, and I didn't put in my limit order to get a scale. And then, of course, price spiked and I missed the opportunity. I put it in after the fact. And I just thought it was a good teachable moment. Um, basically, okay, we don't have context here because I didn't add it in. This is just, a trade management study. Basically, we had a level where buyers came in. I missed that move. Actually, no, I didn't. I did get involved in my first account. I mean, on my live account, and then it retested the POC, and you can see there top. It found a top or resistance at 57.52 around there, and then it came back down. And what I noticed was the high liquidity on the bid. And then you can see I put my limit orders. But at this point, I decided, you know what? I've had enough trading for today. I was up on my live account, so I switched to sim. And this is the sim trade. And I put my limit orders there, and I was like, it was a level that held previously. And I just suspected, okay, we're going to get a retest and we're going to get a bounce off it. And that's basically what happened. So we had some sellers come in and they traded into that high liquidity. And I put my limit orders. I got some practice on the Bookmap trading feature. And yeah, it worked out quite nicely. Besides, well, the part that worked out was the sellers traded into my bids, my limit orders, and it bounced. And you can see buyers came in. It took price to POC. I was supposed to get a scale out and then obviously trail my stop to break even, which I didn't get to do. And then it resulted in a loss. If you look at the bottom screenshot on the left-hand side.
Yeah, in here. So
Yeah, because I was sleeping on the job basically.
okay. So let's why don't I just immediately throw it over to Stan and any comments, and then Vinny. So
Yeah.
what do you guys think?
Yeah, I think you've got your reason to enter, as you said, like it was maybe the zone already had. But it's true then I prefer when I try to enter with the bias, with the conviction. That will be clearly the main point about the entry. Um, and yeah, I don't know if it was a news before the exit or before you set your limit order. The spike,
Yeah,
if it
is
I
it?
was
can't
just
recall.
Yeah, that I had that question too, if that was news or not.
I think so. I
yeah,
can't recall right now. I'm actually trying
yeah,
to open my charts so I can just double check. But yeah, out of nowhere, it just bounced. I think Trump was talking at the time,
yeah,
if
maybe.
I can recall. But I also had data issues because I was between two platforms, and then the one disconnected, and it made me a bit nervous. But luckily, I switched to Sim in this case.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But yeah, for me mainly the entry, maybe more with conviction. But if you have your things, or maybe you were trying something in Sim after the live account, I don't know.
I was.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, for sure that if you had your level, if you had a checklist, I don't know if it was just like a sort of you had the willingness to trade, or it was just the trade then you a sort of a setup than you are trying to make in this case. So yeah, I just don't know for that too. If it was also a setup that you're using or that you're trying to vet, or it was just a trade after your live account.
I'll be honest. I think what you're pointing out there is 100% correct. Um, it's that wanting to trade as well. Well, the previous trade, it was like, it triggered me a little bit, like how it just pulled back. Um, we had found resistance at that POC and then it came back down. That's why I switched over because I noticed my emotions were all triggered. Even though I do have a setup, I don't have a checklist in this example, but I do get your point, what you're saying. It is a little bit of that as well. But I'll give myself kudos. At least I was in Sim.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
yeah, like my initial trade before this one, I was playing off I think Tom calls it the VWAP to VPOC. And I did get targets on that one. No, I didn't. I think it just came shy. And then my stop got trailed up. It's automatic. It's automated. And then it of course came back, knocked me out. Then it went and hit the POC. So already then I was triggered. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to try again. And I was up. That was my, I think, third trade. So my first trade, I was short. I got stopped. Then I went short again. And then I made everything back, luckily. And that's when I got long because I thought, okay, maybe we're going to have another push up. And there was a setup, which was the VPOC, I mean, the VWAP to VPOC. And then that happened where it didn't give me targets and then it went and then it sold off. And then this is that experiment of the sim long, which we're seeing right now. I will add that in. I need to catch up on some slides.
Okay.
Then we'll have more context to that. So this was just purely a
Yeah,
trade management. But yes, I do get what you're saying.
and just about like the limit order, because if it seems like a setup that VPOC VWAP to VPOC, uh, why did you set your limit after
At
the
that
spike?
level.
Like, yeah, exactly, or yeah, not directly when you get your entry.
Yeah. Well, so yesterday we had the same setup, but I don't know if you have the slide from yesterday. And So basically, it was also a VWAP to VPOC. I got involved on the first one, and then it came back to retest that level that proved to be support. And I hesitated. It responded at that. It responded at the VWAP, and buyers just came in aggressively, and it just ran off with me. So today I was like, okay, well, I can see some interest there. I can see high liquidity at the bid. I'm going to get involved there. And then if we look left, which we don't have in the slide, that level did hold. And it's just, that's why I experimented on this the sim account.
Yeah, perfect. That's all I have. But yeah, perfect.
Oh, and if you look at the SVP on the right hand side, it is a LVM.
Yeah.
Outside edge, so that can also play into it. But I am kind of still working on it. But this is one of my setups.
Okay, great. Yeah, so perfect. Yeah, great that you did that in Sim.
Yeah, that's what it's there for, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Vinny,
So,
how about you have any comments?
Sure. Steven, how are you?
I'm doing you, bro.
All right. All right. Yes, we've done some chatting in the room, and I tell you, you're a rock star. But I just
You
wanted to
too.
talk about. Thank you very much. Yeah, right off the bat, I really like how you went right to your from your live account. You were happy with what you made today, and then you kept your emotions in check. You said you were nervous, and you went right to your sim account. That was
Yeah.
very good discipline. That's number one. So that was really, really good. And number two, I noticed on the left-hand side of the chart, you did talk about shorting. I can see your short right there. It looks like you had some passive orders absorbing over there right in the middle of the chart. Set up a little bit of a resistant line, and you went from about 45 to about 39. So that looks like about 6 points right there if you were to short. I think you said you did short, and I didn't really
Yeah,
kind
much
of
higher up. Wasn't on this slide.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I could see some definitely a nice setup there right to the left of the screen. And on the right of the screen, it looks like when you went long, that blue line, I'm assuming that's your VWAP. Is that correct?
Yeah, the cyan.
Okay. And that's where you went long. So you already have your setup in place. I just didn't know where your target was over there on the right. And yeah, I think you already realized that you didn't have a checklist up there, but you're pretty much you're really just experimenting. And and that's what happens sometimes when you have these sim accounts. You want to make sure you go ahead and test your theories to see if they prove out. And that's exactly what you did. So bravo to you.
Yeah, I think it's good practice to experiment on some. But like initially, I was thinking, okay, we could have another push up, but it was conflicting signals as well because I also short. We had a bullish open and then it exhausted, and then it was the boats were being turned around. But it was quite frustrating because every now and then, like I'm holding a short, and then all of a sudden there's these buyers coming in, and luckily they exhausted, and those structures held up. But I was holding a short, and then you always got that pullback where it comes back up again just to make sure. And those emotions start to stir up because you don't want to give back what you've gained. So,
Absolutely. And I just had one quick question. Where was your target for your long, if you don't mind?
well, on this sim account would have been the POC. On the long that I took before this sim one, it was also at POC, but I didn't get it because the guys that paper hand, I don't know if that's the right analogy, they get out sooner and then it starts to come back, and then my automated what do you call it, ATM, where it manages the trade for me, put my stop at break even already, and it came back, knocked me out. But it was a valid structure because that pullback, it still held as support, and then buyers came in again. Just so frustrating, and that kind of set me off already, you know. And then if I'm not mistaken, I think I exited as well, because there was just
Okay,
one
so you,
target that trailed up, and then
and you
of course it knocks me out, and then it goes to POC. So that's when I switched to this. So
and you move your stop up, you said, to break even, correct?
yeah, it's all automated though. It does
Got
it
it.
already. 5 points in, boom, plus 1 point.
Got it. Nice
So,
setup.
yeah, it could have been worse. It could have been a losing day, or I could have given everything back. So you
So
have to be grateful
yeah,
with what you get.
let's Vinny, anything else that you had?
No, Bruce, I'm good. Thank you very much. He did outstanding.
Okay, John. John had a question, or like a comment in the comment section. So I thought we'd just bring him right up, because maybe it'd be easier to explain. So welcome, John, to the stage.
Sure. Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, great. Stephen, I love the work that you're doing. You're always in here posting. It's the best way to move forward for sure. What I see with this chart, though, in general, the price action is making lower lows and lower highs coming down. And I see more liquidity below than I see above. So I see an imbalance of liquidity below your entry
Mhm.
at VWAP, as a matter of fact. Yeah, 57.25 and probably around a half or so down there. So that
Yeah,
would be a target from me. So I'm having trouble justifying
the
getting
long.
long in here.
Mm.
And when you were just answering the question about what your targets were, the POC, that's a wonderful place, to have a
Mm.
target if and only if there's liquidity there,
Mhm.
and there isn't any. So again, I just wanted to
Yeah, on the slide.
bring
Yeah, I
that out for
understand.
conversation. Bruce can expand on that a little bit, whether he sees it the same way that I do. But
Yeah.
I would just be looking for more down. I'm sorry.
Mhm. Yeah, like I said, initially I was short, but the thing is, like, we also don't know. And that's what made me a bit nervous on, like, I'm so grateful that I took a sim trade. My last trade was a sim trade. And then I think I did take another sim trade short. But yeah, I thanks for bringing that up.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
Okay. Anything else, John, that you
No,
wanted to
no,
mention?
that's all I really wanted to cover. Since that, for me, since that's not in place, um, the rest of the markups on the chart are really immaterial, because I would be looking for more down. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
and you can see here on the
mm,
higher time frame, that's precisely what it did. Uh,
Ah,
mhm.
so
mhm,
down to 22, or it looks like somewhere around there.
mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That
somewhere
doesn't
somewhere
surprise
around
me.
in.
That's what I would expect. Yeah.
You see, if the plan, if the trade turned out what I normally do, I would have at least got a scale and then been knocked out, which is normal, right? But what I was trying to notate here was, because I was snoozing on the job, I missed that opportunity, and it only gave it to me once, and then it took me out. But valid points that you bring up, John. So
The S&P can be an expensive place to take.
mhm. Yeah, yeah,
Stephen, believe me, I know. But yeah, but
yeah.
great work that you're doing. You're working hard at it. I love the work that you're doing. Yes, sir.
I have some more slides with some silly errors that I make, but they will be coming soon. I just wanted to show the
Hmm.
training mistake.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, so Stephen, I have some feedback here. I kind of well, I echo what Stan, well, all coaches here had kind of mentioned. The the thing, I mean, like, and playing around in sim is fine. I think it can be good as long as you have kind of a structure behind your goals. And for example, if you are following high liquidity, and looking for pullbacks, because every time typically we hit into high liquidity where aggressive sellers meet the buyers, a lot of times you'll get a bounce, or you get a pullback, or you get sideways consolidation or something. And you're kind of experimenting with that, and you have your VWAP here, etc. So you've got maybe your higher time frame liquidity, and you're going along with the larger players here, and this is how they play, is with the higher liquidity in the markets. And I would just say though that it can be kind of dangerous to trade. I mean, for experimenting, I think it's fine. It can be dangerous to trade that way, because you just don't know how much supply these aggressors have, especially in this environment that we're in now, that they very easily could have like whipped it down into not only here but here. So you can see they traded through this one, and we got a little bit of a pullback, but not much. So that would be one thing. The other thing is, like, I think what John had mentioned about the structure, starting to understand the lower highs, the lower lows, and the structure behind it. And then that the aggressors are they're coming in, there's high volume in here. So now you're looking for them to meet the passive buyers. This might have been Trump speaking or whatever it is, and you can see exactly what it did, which is always interesting. It comes up and kind of maybe tests these areas up in here and see if we can get back up above it or not. But it it doesn't. It comes right back down and continues with the trend, and ultimately hits that higher liquidity. These areas of high liquidity can act as magnets if the aggressors are going toward them. If they're not, then it just may stay in the book, and we see the aggressors move toward high liquidity on the offer. So some considerations when in sim is what I try to do. Try to put some sort of kind of, okay, I am testing something. I want to see how it reacts, etc. And then you've got some nice takeaways here that, like, well, I kind of was sleeping on the job. I should have been more aggressive. You learn some nice things, like, I'm going to place my target because this quick move here, I would have been filled for a nice little gain. Some of these ideas, and they can be invaluable for. So yeah, just a few extra comments on top of what the other guys have said here.
Bruce, I just have just a quick comment, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Stephen, just to add on, if you are thinking about a long position here, I could see where your entry would be right at VWAP, right where you have it circled. Now, if you look, and that's right around, looks like 39. Now, with that bounce up, where the previous passive orders were absorbed, and now you develop resistance, that could be a target, which could be another 5 points.
I mean, right here.
Right.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
I would look for that as well to be tested first, Vinny. Exactly. That would be the kind of pullback area.
You definitely can see that as well.
Yeah, and in fact, you can even see it's a good one, Vinny, because, like, look at the volume here on the pullback. Right. So.
Oh, good one, Bruce. Good one. Yeah, nice spot.
It came up to where it traded through this liquidity here, but we don't see too many buyers. So you can still look for going short. Now, whatever happened in here, we're kind of speculating on. We don't really know, but anyway, yeah, that's Yeah, some good comments, Vinny. I mean, now we're talking about market structure, liquidity, and aggressors over and over and over again. Okay, so yeah, I think we can move on. Stephen, thank you. Good one, and really great work, Stephen. That you like the others had commented. You're definitely putting in the efforts.
Okay, thank you.
Let's see. Why don't we jump over to let's see, Stan? I think
Yeah,
let's go
I think both of them are here, so
get your. Yeah, here we go. Okay.
so yeah, we can start first with GS pipes.
Yeah,
I-
J Pips is in here too, so
Yeah, perfect. Yes. So I don't know if you want to
yeah,
jump on the
yeah.
stage.
Let's bring him up to the stage. So go, Jay. If you have any comments, you want to walk us through some of the decisions in here, markups. If not, Vinny, take it
Yeah,
away,
I
and
can.
we'll get started.
Yeah.
So.
Hi there. This is Vinny. Did you want me to comment?
Oh, I'm
on
sorry, Vinny. I mean, Stan.
No
It's
worries. Yeah,
Stan.
sorry.
Stan. It's
Stan
Stan's.
is the expert.
No worries.
Yeah,
If you have anything,
exactly.
don't worry. I will give you the mic. Yeah, so I found the chart really great. I really like how you are highlighting the range, what you are looking for. I think it will be good to have a more marks about the order flow. Like it's great to see like the retest of the structure, but I think what you can really gain something from Bookmap, it's what's happening in this movement. For example, like the sellers moving the price away from this consolidation, then the retest, then you are looking for what was the behavior of the retest. For example, a bit on the right makes me a little bit scary when I see all the buyers coming in. But still, yeah, if you have your plan, your setup, that's great. I like the fact that we can see like the red bubbles clearly like move the price from the range. Yeah, exactly there. I think it will be a good idea to add some relative volume to have a good understanding about the volume in this microstructure, even if we can kind of fill it with the dots. I will say obviously maybe if you have like through the map light to have a better understanding of the liquidity. In this case, we can see like you took your target at the liquidity. So I don't know if you were front running it or as you see, there were a lot of buyers, and in this case, you decide to exit when buyers came in. But yeah, that's great, great chats, and that's almost the same. So I think it will be good to have a sort of a checklist with the main point and you are looking for example, in this case, a range, a bounce with yeah, a break with conviction, then a pullback with less buyers, for example, and engage. And try to repeat it in sim to have more faith in your setup and to work on it. But I like it. And in this case, where would you have set your stop, for example? I guess on the top of the range, but it will good to notice it. But overall, yeah,
Can
I
you
like.
can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
perfect.
Okay, sorry, I was having some problems getting my mic working.
Don't worry.
Yeah, my take profit was right there at the liquidity, that big red liquidity zone Right here it says got out at this area with a lot of buyers on the book.
Yeah, exactly. And were you like front running it, or just like it start to sweep and you decide to exit? Like, is it like a constant profit front of liquidity? Maybe it's a one
Yeah, I had
shot.
my stop loss or my take profit set there. So it's here. If you can zoom in on it, it's on there. The arrow where I got out is right in that circle. You see the gold
Yeah, yeah.
arrow?
Ah, right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and so I was thinking too, like, are you using, because we can see in this case your profit, huh? Where you enter, and so do you use like more mental stop, or in this case you
No,
try?
I have a hard stop set.
All right, yeah, perfect. I guess yeah, on the green rectangle. Or
Right. Yeah, I need to get better at taking before and after pictures, but I a lot of times it's just the after picture.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
I mean that's great, huh?
thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if Vinny, you want to say anything?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Dr. J, excellent picturesque you have here. I can see exactly what you were looking at here. You're looking at the consolidation, and then you were actually being patient, waiting for the break, and you had your break, and it went back up, and you retested it, and it held. And I'm assuming your stop is going to be just above where that bottom of your consolidation is, and then you had it follow through all the way down to your liquid target. That almost looks like it's about 9 points. So I
Right.
definitely see what your setup is. I mean, I like it. I just had to go ahead and mark it up myself here in my book what your checklist would be. So I really kind of figured it out. I really like it. And that was just my one question. I'm assuming your stop was just above the bottom of the consolidation, which means you probably had a really good reward to risk ratio. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah, and if you look in the write out by the picture, I think it says something about the risk to reward was too good not to take the trade.
Ah, very good. Okay, that was my question. And again, where was your hard stop? I'm sorry.
It was at, let's see, like 57.13-ish.
Okay, I see it. Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Outstanding.
Yep. Thanks, Vinny. But yeah, I need to get better about my charting. I like to keep it simple at first, and then because I've been doing this for about a week now in the Discord, so I like to work my way up into it. So right now they're pretty elementary, but hopefully I'll get as good as like sharks.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. It's well, welcome. I mean, this is the first time we've had you, so
Right,
uh,
thank you.
the and you're off to a great start. It kind of reminds me of Trading Is Life, who's been in here for a few months now. And you know, he started off with some very simple analysis, and has kind of built out from there. So this is a great start, definitely. And you've got a very nice setup here. This is actually a fantastic one. It's a break of the structure, and then a pullback to kind of where it broke from, and then the continuation on down, and then take your profit.
Right.
I'm kind of along with Stan on this. Like, I what is all of this volume in here on the buy side? Was there something going on geopolitically or something? Because
No, it's just 9:30, so it's open.
the open is right here. I forgot. I did not see that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's there's some potential risk on that one.
Right. That's why my stop loss is so tight.
Okay. Yeah. So that's up to you how you want to manage the risk on something like that. But yeah, and it's something definitely to study for like an opening range breakout type of trade, or
Mhm.
like it's, you've got your consolidation. So if you can get down below it, you're going to get people that are going to they're going to have to cover.
Right.
And so it's set up nicely for that.
Yeah, there was another trade that was similar to this one that I bought at the top of the range, or I sold at the top of the range. I took the same day. So I like the consolidation trades and then consolidation breakout. Like if it's a good enough reason to take a sell at the top of the consolidation with trend and I can get a really tight stop loss, then I like doing that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. It's a great setup, and works on just about every time frame out there.
Right.
I also, like, since you're kind of new to Bookmap, I also echo some of Stan's comments. You've got a lot of indicators and stuff on here. You got your liquidity tracker, but yeah, first off, your markups, you've already commented on that. So yeah, just follow along with like DNT, Shark, Laura, John, Steven, like they're all experts in the markups, and take what works for you. The What Stan had mentioned though too is like, I find it very helpful. You might want to play around with it, is putting the volume bars down below.
Right. Yeah.
And the volume delta bars is what I find helpful, to match them with the volume dots.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I'm open to any suggestions, please.
yeah,
Like,
sure.
I'm sorry, I think I had to restart Discord when Stan was talking, so I didn't catch a lot of his input because my mic wasn't working. I was trying to get that working.
Oh, no problem. It's recorded. You can review it
Right.
on YouTube.
Right. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that.
Okay. The other comment is, the Trader Map Lite. I mean, unfortunately, there's this bot in here, as you can see, that is really, it starts at 8 o'clock typically. And you can see this action in here that really kind of skews the order book in the heat map. So we can filter that out so you'll get a better view.
Okay, and how do I do that?
Yeah, here, in fact, we've got some videos I can show you. So if you go to, you can go to YouTube or to our bookmap.com, and then go to education. And let's see, it's under add-ons. We're just adding a new one in here as well, like for the MBO bundle. There's Trader Map Pro here. It's very similar to Trader Map Pro, is more advanced, a little more advanced, or has more kind of flexibility than Trader Map Lite. But if you just go to your Bookmap and the add-ons, you'll be able to see the Trader Map Lite. And let me just bring up the video for you, and I'll paste it in. Yeah, right here. So yeah, it's pretty simple. So I'm going to put it into the chat here in Discord for you. There you go.
Right. And
There you go.
the MBO bundle is like 130 a month, I think, right?
Yeah, now the Trader, you don't need it for Trader Map Lite. That's free.
Okay.
So you can play around with that. If you want the MBO bundle, one of the indicators is the Trader Map Pro. There's like 4 others, I think. Liquidity Tracker Pro, as well as stops and icebergs. So it's up to you.
Got it.
So yeah, that's it. And you're off to a really great start.
Well, thanks for the input, and like I think I made a comment yesterday. If anyone has any suggestions or anything, please let me know.
Yeah, sure.
I'm
Just
open to them.
ask in the chat.
Right. All right. Well, thanks, Bruce.
Okay, thanks, Jay. And let's move on. Stan, you've got
So trading is life.
yeah, trading his life. And where is he? Is he in here?
Yeah, I think so. It was.
He was earlier. Huh. You know what? Let's go over Laura, I think, because Laura's been in here. We haven't covered her in a while. Also, we've got D, a new guy in here as well. So we can also go over D and let's see if trading his life comes back in, and then we can go over Stan. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, always.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Laura, we've got some nice. Well, Laura's been doing some really great work for a while. So let's see here. Got a couple. And let's see. Okay, again, Laura got her 1, 2, 3 pattern off of Learn from Shark Baloo, and she's got her checklist up above here, yep, looks at for that 1, 2, 3 pattern. She's got her trend line. The trend has broken, and then she looks for the structure breaks here. I mean, this is just beautiful stuff, really. You know, we have this kind of triple top up here, and look at the volume up here trading. Very, very little buying, mostly selling with the dots, and we get the break of the structure. We get one more retest in here, and then it looks like she sees a big sell dot and she gets in. Beautiful. In fact, I'm surprised it even gave this. I'm surprised it didn't just go straight down from here. And then you, Laura, you're looking for taking your profits kind of down here around the bottom of the range ish, and you're out. So let's see. Your target was the VWAP down here, initial target, but then the VPI spike is what also helped you exit here. Looks like. Okay. Boy, like Laura, the comments that I mean, you're getting really good at this trade, and I don't really have too much to say, except that you might. I don't really see too much opportunity in here, but you once you start to, I mean, you're nailing these. Maybe start to consider scaling in, and work a position around it somehow, and then also holding for a little bit longer. I mean, like conservatively, like you could take some profit at the bottom of the range here because we never know. But or the bottom of the range in here, somewhere in this little zone here, which you kind of did. But your original target was down here. So you can kind of work a position and then turn this into something that really works nicely for you. And you can manage your risk along the way really nicely. So you're kind of scaling in and out of the position over time. It's kind of nerve-wracking, kind of it can be kind of advanced if it's just a consideration in the future. But other than that, just you're honing your craft here. You're nailing it. Looks great to me. So I don't know, Stan. What
Yeah.
what do you think?
Yeah, I find great, and we can even see like on the left, the first trade. Um,
Oh, right.
the
Yeah.
green bucket. Yeah, exactly. The same trade in the
Yep.
microstructure, so works well too. Yeah, I think the setup's great. You're doing it like times of times, so that's perfect. Just for me, yeah, I like when we can add some notes maybe for even other person in the academy about the behavior. Yeah, in the liquidity we can see like, for example, on the first top, on the triple top, the liquidity being filled, the came back, we can see the exhaustion clearly, and sellers that came in, and I think that's really something that yeah, what you can really see from Bookmap, and what's for me it's the most important to highlight. But yeah, great trade as usual, but that will be my main point.
Yeah, that's thanks, Stan. I yeah, always you come back to that liquidity and remind us, and that's exactly right. Look at this move into high liquidity, totally absorbed. Very little buying back up above, none, or very little. And you can even see it, and you're going to see it in CVD, of course, but you can see it here also in the volume. And you know, one of the things that, like you're saying, Stan, is absorption followed by exhaustion, followed by some aggressive selling, is a
Exactly.
really powerful setup.
Yeah, and I like the entry too, always in the continuation. In this case, for example, on the right side, we can see like you try to enter with sellers, and I find very great on the retest of the trend line. You didn't enter directly on it. You were waiting for the sell values to come again, as you said. So yeah, that's great, and we can see it again on the left side. You're trying to follow the conviction, and I think it will avoid you some steps.
Yeah, I have to say, like, I would probably be really tempted. I would probably get in here.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know, I'm at the bottom of the range. I know you guys have seen me do it a million times. And then I would feel the squeeze here, and yeah, but you waited backside of the trend line. You can even draw your trend line in here now, and and then you saw the selling come in. You got one more little push, no more, not much buying, and then really the sellers, they've got it here now. Anyway, yeah, nice stuff. Anything else, Stan?
And I will say, and great to have like a sort of a exit condition. Like in this case, the VPI as Shaq mentioned. Whatever it is, I find great. When you have like several slide of them, you might try to define something that will make you move earlier, and I think it comes with experience, and when you are working on a setup, but great things too.
Yeah, yeah, really great stuff. Vinny.
Yes. Laura, I've been talking with you quite a bit through DMing, and you and Shark Blue Boy, you two really have this setup nailed down to the core. I really like the way Bruce described the lower highs as well. That made me visualize it even better. And I see where you put your entry, so that was an excellent. Well, you actually hit it right on point, so that was terrific. Also, Bruce, I really like the way you talked about your initial exit that you talked about. So that was an initial exit to take some of your profits off. I also like the way you adapted to the changing market conditions. Your initial target was VWAP, but then you noticed the VPI, and so then you decided to go ahead and exit a little bit sooner. And so that was some great insight. And yeah, I really like the way you followed the number 3 wave you have there, the impulse wave. So yeah, other than that, I don't have much to say. It was spot on. Nice job. Excellent.
Yeah, Laura, way to go. I mean, boy, I can only imagine you're seeing your account grow. So yeah, kudos. Let's see. We've got a lot of people to kind of cover in here. I do have another one from you, Laura, but I think let's jump over to D. He's new and would like to cover what he's got here. So he's been putting a lot of effort in, as you can see, marking up his charts. He's following everything in here. He's got he's got a description here, moving into the what is it? The checklist would be really good as well. Anyway, let's bring D up to the stage. Okay, and yeah, D, welcome. You want to walk us through the trade? And we don't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so what I saw when the session opens is it went for the overnight low, and then it went back to the original RTH open, and actually I saw a epoch migration. So I'm trying to get these concepts that Tom talks about in his streams, like this too low, too high narration. So when I saw this VPOC migration, and then I observed this structure, this new retail price or acceptance around the POC, I was paying attention because I at this time I think it's uptrend, and then I see the price broke the structure, so I was expecting to have a pullback. So in this label where it says retest and exhaustion, I saw that like my trigger. So the entry could be actually above that sell dot, right? And after seeing the long-term liquidity up top and the key levels like the previous close and a bit low is the initial balance and all those key levels, and I target them, right?
Yeah. So the initial balance high is what you're targeting. It looks like I'm a little confused here. So I mean, I see you entering here, exiting.
Yeah, no, actually, I didn't put the order, but
Okay.
in retrospect, yeah, I say that I did my replay, let's say, and I thought that was the best entry.
Okay. Let's see. So, and what time frame is this? East Coast or is this what?
No, yeah, no, I'm in Mexico, so yeah, that
okay.
was.
So this is West Coast time or Pacific time. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is 10:45 East Coast time. Okay, understood. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I do like the break of structure here, and high liquidity. Okay, buyers trade into it, they trade through it. Another just a beautiful thing, like we just kind of covered with Laura, as well as Jay's pips, the retest of that, structure, and then looking for follow through for the trend and move to the upside. So you nailed it here, looking for your entry when maybe it's confirmed with some volume in there after bouncing off of the structure here. And not so much exhaustion, it looks like, but some maybe at the very, very tip here. And then waiting for those buyers to just start taking it higher. Yeah, it does look a little potentially choppy here due to the high liquidity here and here and here and here. So yeah, it kind of makes sense, the grind here in the move.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, in terms of entry, this is like I think it's great to look for this area when you've got that volume that confirms it, and then for I don't know, it's for you or others basically to consider, like, hitting singles here, and that would be maybe either the top of the range and take some off, or maybe the high in front of the high liquidity and take some off, and you can always get back in and then look for the same thing, because it's starting to trend, and it's bouncing again off of this structural area in here, and then take some off, or take some off at high liquidity, another pullback in here, look for your entry, and again off in here. So just the comment in here is just like building repetition and confidence with maybe some smaller trades. Then once that's understood, you can maybe hold for longer, manage it differently. You can even start scaling in and out, like we were suggesting to Laura. Anyway, other than that, you've been putting in tremendous effort, marking up your charts. It's great. Off to a great start as well. Turn it over to Stan.
Yeah, I think you cover almost everything.
I didn't leave you any room.
No, yeah, that's great. It seems to me even like sort of a flag button. We can look in the Academy's video. And yeah, that's perfect. You apply it, you recognize it, and that's great. Then we can see, I guess, I hope it with Tradermap Lite at this time, and really like the better view than we can have with this add-on about the liquidity. Can make much easier decision. So great, and you are using it. I mean, yeah, you recognize like the high liquidity, the longer time frame liquidity that can be used as a mainnet. Clearly, I mean, just for the entry, I will say with the big buyers, when maybe you see like some big green dots. I don't know if at this time you were looking for just the exhaustion and then directly an entry, and to align it with the relative volume. But even if it speaks by himself in here, just to know then you are looking at it. Yeah, that's great, and try to make a sort of a checklist with it and grade it. That will be a good idea. But yeah, really great to see like you are highlighting the order flow element, and you are using structure. Everything makes sense. So great.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks, Stan. Vinny.
D, excellent example you have over here. I'll just run through it real quick, under a minute here. I like the way you have your box, your rectangle box there. It's a consolidation. Looks like you have it between your liquidity and also your VWAP. and then you really waited until it broke that consolidation where you went ahead and did your entry. And I'm assuming your stop is just going to be just at the bottom of the very top of that consolidation. I'm assuming. Maybe you can just follow up with me after I'm done over here. Also, I see where your liquid target is up above. I know John mentioned also, you know, you want to set a target pretty much where the liquidity is, and it looks like you really had that set up very well. I also noticed your CVD on the bottom left. That was in a good position as well. That's another asset that could be used in your process. And speaking of the structure that Stan mentioned, yes, this is a nice structure. It looks like, I'm not sure of your experience level, but I see that you use patience and you're letting the process play out to the liquidity. Looks like it was a 20-minute trade. And yeah, so I think it was terrific. It's almost a similar trade as of JPIPs. And yeah, so that would be my next question: is where would you put your stop, please? Thank you.
Yeah, my stop probably would be just below the consolidation.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so that would be a really good reward to risk ratio. So yeah, I would think his stop would be a little bit higher, Bruce. So it would be at the very top of that.
At the top of it. Okay, got it.
Yeah. That's what I think he mentioned. So that would be a really good ratio there. So okay, I understand. Thank you very much. Outstanding.
Thank you. I just think I need to build more of confidence, because sometimes I just put I just place the order, but then I just regret it and just let it go, right?
Oh well, I think what might help you a lot, D, is record your data. You can talk to the guys in here in the academy. Also for Jay's pips. I see you're asking about the 1, 2, 3. Talk to Shark and Laura on that. So I mean, you know, we can lean on each other in here for sure. In fact, a lot of the things that not necessarily 1, 2, 3, but I've got a course coming out soon that covers a lot of these very similar setups that we're covering today. So I can't wait. And we can really dive into some, you know, details into some of these. Yeah, I think it'll be really strong. I would suggest you're marking up your charts. That's great. So it seems like you're in that phase right now of identifying the order flow structures, but you said you don't have quite the confidence yet. Mm-hmm. So that can be gained next. You start to identify these things properly, like you did, and then start to look for, you know, the precise things that help you with your setup. And you're kind of doing that already as well. And then the next step is to I would suggest record your data and then replay it in replay mode, and you can do it again and again and again, and then you know, you'll get better very quickly that way.
Okay, thank you. I'll do that.
Yeah, and yeah, hopefully we'll be able to soon have a database of different files in here from replay mode that then we can you know, also share. I need to see if that's possible, since it is recorded data, but you know, we can share files in here, which would be fantastic. And then it's like, okay, well, here's another example from this day. Go and replay that, and you can trade it in replay mode as well. Okay, so yeah, and you'll start to build your confidence a lot quicker, I think, that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. So let's see. So yeah, and yeah, you continue to love to see this in here. So yeah, another one would be to you're starting to kind of put together your checklist. I would yeah, try to write it out a little bit more like, well, it's part of the process here to hone it down and know exactly what you're looking for in your setup and your checklist. Right. So let's see. And did Trading is Life come back in? Right. So hold on a minute. See what else we've got in here. We've also got Moby. Moby's check as, let's see if you guys in. Well, actually, what I'll do this is I can share Moby's. So he's got Crypt Tower, and he's also got you, Vinny. So we can put that into the chat here. This is Coach Moby. There we go. And right, let's see. So we didn't have any other anything covered actually for you guys. So let's see. Maybe I know Shark, you've been as always like very diligent and busy putting your spreadsheet together. So maybe we can jump over to you. So yeah, we're a little thinner on the coaches this time, so I don't have much to go over. So let's see here though. We can pick up Shark. Gee, Shark. All sorts of stuff in here. Be great. Yeah. Let's let's bring you on up, Shark, and let's go over your setup here.
Am I audible?
Yes, welcome.
Okay, I had to scramble to get a headset connected. I'm still fumbling with these new computers, but I'm slowly getting everything pieced together.
Excellent.
What day are we looking at? The 19th. Yesterday.
Yes. You got your footprint chart in here as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull this up on another screen real quick. So this was towards the end of the day. I think we were getting into getting into the power hour. And price ran back up.
Yeah. So yeah, this would be somewhere around 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah. East Coast time.
There we go. Just so I can see this better. Yeah, so I didn't trade early in the day. Had actually just stayed away from my screens during the data release. Historically, it's been a long time, but historically, FOMC days were pretty tragic for me. So I just steered clear until after the data release, and then I popped in to see what was going on. And price kind of grinded its way right back up, just grinded up to where I had mapped out a key auction reversal level from several days ago. And she climbed through that level and then kind of pulled back I have my 1, 2, 3 that kind of set up in there. As you know, Bruce, I tend to jump the gun. So I jumped into this trade a little bit early before my 1, 2, 3 was kind of complete. But you see the little box that I have labeled access?
Yeah, here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is something I've been working on really hard lately in defining what I'm calling an access point. And kind of leaning on something Don't Matter was talking about recently, the most important question. So I'm asking myself, where's the effort in this single rotation? Those are 5-minute rotations. So where's the effort in this single rotation? Where are initiative participants and where are responsive participants? And kind of just going for it and picking a spot. And it tends to be the point of control of that rotation. But if I go through every single one of those, the point of control of every single rotation doesn't meet this little criteria list I'm building for that access point. But you notice that there's a big cluster of transaction right where I have that little box. And over to the right, the next rotation is the next two are supported by it, then price breaks below it exactly. So I got in that trade, and as it was starting to roll over on me, I just got out and got back in at that second green arrow. And my intention was to ride that down to a demand zone I have. You would see it on the other screen, but I trailed myself out too soon. So I think a good question for the whole crew of coaches is about trailing stops, right? Like as you've seen a million times, I have a really good thesis, a really good idea, and I only catch a piece of the trade because I trail myself out of the trade. So I'm trying to find the correct pivot to follow my stop down to, and not get stopped out. But there's a happy medium, right? I'm either staying in that trade and losing my unrealized gains, or I'm clicking myself out of that trade and trying to find a re-entry, which quite often leads to me chasing the trade. So I know there's a happy medium in there somewhere. Can you take a look at the other screen, Bruce?
Sure.
You'll see it here where I had my stop up above that initial pivot, above the liquidity. Yeah, that's where I got out, then re-entered when price got back up to my entry level. And that's not a small piece of price movement. That's 15, that's I don't know what it ended up being altogether, 15 points or something, but you see where I move my stop down and I'm dragging it down to just above the previous pivot. Yeah, right in there. I'm pulling it to above the previous pivot structure. And had I not pulled it so tight, I could have taken a much larger piece of that move.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
this is like it's a well, first off, great work, and you're really honing it. I think I don't think you're getting in, like your entry, I think is much more kind of figured out than in the past. So and you're looking at your footprint and you see a beautiful transition here. I mean, you can see it in the volume bars as well, from kind of buy side that's actually kind of waning into high liquidity, and then massive selling in here. a retest and more selling. Notice the delta on both of them here, and you scaled. You got in, got out, got back in, and then got out for a nice gain, really nice gain. The happy medium
hard.
for the management, yeah, it's up to you. I mean, like, is it going to be measured moves? Is it going to be some sort of capitulation, with market pulse? Is it going to be a high liquidity zone? Is it going to be a higher time frame? Is it going to be a structural area? There's a kind of a lot of questions to ask what you are comfortable with.
For me, I think it's structure.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I said, there's a happy medium there. I think I need to decide what the market, based on market context, I guess, what the market's doing. And am I going into this trade to be aggressive, or do I have enough confidence in this trade to stay convicted in a larger stop with a little more leverage and try and take that bigger piece of the move? And I guess that's the decision I have a hard time dialing into. I kind of hop back and forth.
Yeah. Again, I think maybe replay mode, and try to figure out that happy medium. Like, there's all sorts of, like, as you can see, like when we're mentioning that with Laura, there's all sorts of other ways to scale in and out of this as well. Here's another scale in potentially. Here's another one here, maybe in here. Even this one is starting to flatten out a little bit. It's starting to break your trend line in here, but like, even that could be a potential a scale. It never really broke the structure. Well, I guess it did very briefly, and then it failed, and then went and it continued on lower. So that's another thing. And I don't know, maybe talk with John a bit. Like, the way that he manages it is he gives it a lot of room to run, and he's looking to hold for his high liquidity targets, and that's what works for him. Yeah, I think you'll figure it out through the replay mode, and what works for you.
Fantastic.
Hey, Bruce.
Yeah.
Bruce. Okay. You mind if I jump in?
Sure.
Okay. I really think what you have here is an awesome setup, because what we have here is we have 3 touches on a lower high. So your third touch, right about 1218, could be an excellent entry point. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, it also broke that support as well. And at 1220, that small little pullback, you can enter as well. So you have 2 opportunities that you can enter on this trade. Now, what was also mentioned is that once it breaks that support, now you can go ahead and just let the process play out. I see on your right-hand side of the screen, you have your demand. Well, you have demand support, right? Your demand support zone targets over there. So yeah, this would be an excellent trade. You just let it ride on out. I see you using the MBO package as well, because you have the CVD BPI signal. So that's also another asset for you too. So I think this is a fantastic setup that you have here, and you can just let the structures intact, and you can just let the process play out.
Yeah, that demand zone was my intentional target, and that little pullback is where I got knocked out. Now I did hit the trend line pivot low. I consider that my initial target, and then whatever key level I have below that is my next target. In this case, I was just running that stop too tight, and I know why I do that. That's a fear of losing unrealized gains.
Oh yeah, that was my other question. You said that you use a stop, or do you use a trailing stop? So do you follow? Does your stop follow your
No, I
price
don't.
down?
I don't use brackets. I manipulate my orders manually.
Also, okay, so you adjust the stop as it's going down.
Yeah, and I'm adjusting it. I'm grabbing the level of that pivot to the left, and I'm moving my stop to in a move, in a move that's covering this much price this fast. I'm trailing a couple ticks above that previous pivot. It doesn't look like it on the bubble chart because it's so flat, but price was kind of moving there.
Did
So
you ever think about scaling out?
Yeah,
as it moves down?
I do scale out. I do like to scale out. I scale out quite often. In this case, I'm trying to teach myself to just hold on for that move, and it shouldn't be so difficult, right? If I'm on side, I'm in the money, I shouldn't worry about a little pullback. But then,
That's my next question. Are you getting nervous?
yeah, them emotions get involved, and I don't want to
Okay.
give back those unrealized gains,
And that's why I mentioned, did you ever want to take something off? Because, you can pocket it and then you can just leave, some of it to follow through on the process. That way, if there's ever a pullback and you get really nervous, you may just stop out, but you're still going to have some of your profits.
Yeah, I like that. That's John's thing too, right? Pay for the trade.
And then that should go ahead and reduce some of your, your emotions. So that's something to be considered as well.
Yeah, another thing, I'm working on sizing up, right? So I am outside my comfort. I am outside my comfort zone.
Oh, I understand. So you're actually adding more positions as well.
Well, maybe more risk. You put it on more risk.
I mean, more risk.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Right. Okay, so you're adding more risk. Okay, so now you're increasing your nervous level as well because you have more.
Exactly,
more
but I see
fairness in the play.
I see that as the
You
way
just scale
to
back on it.
the way to become comfortable with it, right? The only way to become comfortable with something is to do it. I want to become more comfortable being uncomfortable as I go on this journey to become a leveraged trader, which is my end goal.
Did you ever think about maybe doing this trade in a sim mode that Stephen was talking about earlier?
I do a lot of replay trading. I do some sim trading, and I guess my thoughts on what Steven was talking about is I built some pretty bad habits in sim initially when I first started because I was treating it like a video game. And so I've since decided it doesn't matter if I'm in sim or if I'm in an account. If I'm in the live market, I need to treat it as if it's a real account because I reinforced some pretty bad habits just screwing around with sim in the live market.
I understand.
Like
You want to have some
exercising demons, or like Steven said, scratching the itch, right? I need to treat it just like I would one of my accounts. Otherwise, I'm reinforcing that video game mentality. But I do a lot of replay trading.
Yeah, that's excellent. I don't. We may have to do an event with you, Shark, or something like using that replay mode is so. We'd like to just hear like how it has helped you, or how you recommend using that because it can make all the difference if you really get comfortable with your setup. You know what you're looking for, and then you see it like several times in replay mode. That'll help you overcome the nervousness as well.
Yeah, it's for me, it's pattern recognition, not of my trade model or anything going on with the trade. It's pattern recognition of my execution and how I respond rather than react to price action, my emotions, my feelings. I'm just trying to get better at that on the fly execution so that I could do it with more size.
Yeah. I mean, you make a good point about becoming more comfortable. But yeah, I like the thought there, like treat it kind of like how John deals with it. He knows he's got an 80% chance of his first target being hit. He pays himself every day, and then he builds his account though with what's left over, uh, and then yeah, and then he can build up his size and pay himself more every day and build up his account more every day as well over time. So this way, like something to consider. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to work on that.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of curious. I kind of thought maybe you were doing that in here. It's like, okay, I'm going to trade it here down to here, take some off, look for a pullback, get back in, and then again maybe take some off, look for a pullback, get back in. So I hear you on, like, you don't want to force bad habits. You want to stay disciplined and let these things work for you. But then but still though, the more and more that you know your setup and the more and more that you trade it, the more and more you'll be able to feel comfortable about scaling in and out like that. No problem.
Exactly. Thank you. I appreciate that. I like working on that, building into a position in what I call the kill zone. Like in this trade, that would be that area that's mapped out between that minor sell-off low and that key option reversal high. Kind of build into a position, take some off on the way down, and then get out.
Yeah,
In this case, it was one in, one out, one in, one out.
Yeah. Well, which is fine. You're still like still building, and you're following your plan. I mean, of course you're going to be adding risk by getting in again, but you've already taken some off. So maybe it's turns into a break even on this trade overall, but or a small gain or a small loss. But you're still in the game, and you still have confidence too. That's probably the most important part. Like, okay, I took another swing at it here, and that one didn't work out, but I didn't like strike out 3 times at bat or something like that. That can be demoralizing, and you're just gonna, okay, you flied out or grounded out, and you go to the next up at bat.
Exactly. I mean, you see in the sub chart, there's no exit criteria ticked here. It was just me not wanting to give back. I'm absolutely aware of that. So
Yeah, well, that too. Your exit criteria. Like here, you're just managing the stop, and uh, and you're also putting it in an area which like Vinny had mentioned, it's a potential area for another. I kind of like what you did actually, but it is another potential area for another pullback and continuation, right in there. The reason I like it is that your bigger trend is broken, but I mean structurally it's still hanging in there. It's still below this selling in here. This selling is not upended yet. So
no,
uh,
that was to the tick. Like literally, it failed on the tick, and then rolled over and went all the way down to my demand target.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. Anyway, I think you got some good feedback.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, Shark. All right, so let's see. Trading is life is back. Let's bring him up to the stage, and then I think we'll wrap it up after that. Let's see here. Stan, you're on deck. Oh, I'm sorry, Stan, you didn't go over sharks.
I didn't know.
I'm sorry, Stan.
No.
So anyway, yeah, you've got the floor.
Perfect. So yeah, I don't know if he's here, and if you want to talk a bit about the thread.
Yeah, he's up on the stage here.
Okay, great.
Cannot hear you. You're muted. Yeah.
Hello?
There you
Hello?
are. There you are.
Perfect. Hey,
Oh, how you guys doing? How's everybody doing?
all good.
Doing well. Doing well. Thanks.
Okay. So to discuss this trade, 1 second. Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Better.
Okay. I'm sorry
Yeah.
about that. Yeah. So this was doing news and foremost. So I was in there with one contract. I was a little bit nervous, but as you can see, when the down rally happened, and I was expecting it to go to VWAP, which you see exhaustion and you see this very light volume dot showing that the sellers lost momentum. So immediately I started looking for a reversal on the reversal back up. And once I started seeing the green dots, volume dots, and I entered at the second one, and my target was, it didn't reach my target, but my target was liquidity area. So once it started there at I exit the trade right here at exhaustion, as you can see, with my CVD started to take a, I noticed my CVD started to take a down slope, as well as my PC and my VPI, they all started to take a down slope. My delta started going negative against me. I only had one contract, so I exited immediately, and it was doing FOMO time, and the market was very choppy at that time, so I didn't want to give back the winnings that I got, so I exited right there.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that's a great trade. I really like the entry with the bias and clearly align with the relative volume. I think it will be great to have a bigger view, to have a better understanding of what happened. It's maybe a little bit aggressive due to the big move that we had just before, but still, I like the fact that you are highlighting all the flow elements, like the exhaustion as you recognize on the bottom, and then bias coming back where you took the long, plus the liquidity that could be the magnet. I just think it's great. Maybe try to just to take the main point of it and make a small checklist and try to repeat it to, yeah, because I think the most important is the ability to repeat your trading style. So you're posting a lot, you're highlighting great elements. I think you have it. You just have to fit them all in a checklist and repeat it in sim, or that will be good. But yeah, and good to see like the trader apply too. Make more sense for the liquidity. So yeah, I don't have a lot. I find just a great trade if you could yeah, put more images. Yeah, and great money management, reasons for the exit. I think you have your thing.
Thank you.
I don't know, Vinny, if you want to say anything.
Stan, you're the expert, and boy, I tell you, it's going to be tough to pick up where you left off. But yeah, I see you're using the subchart with the CVD signals, and I can see you also have your CVD signal long right where the exhaustion was. So that's another asset that lines up with this turnaround. And I like where you have your entry in the position. I just don't know exactly where that is, because I don't know if that's an actual trend break that you have there. So I'm not sure of the timing. I'd like to go back and take a look at that, because if it is a trend break, and maybe that's just a little bit of a pullback that's occurring where you got out, and then it is going to go follow through to the 5710. I just don't know the timing of that. But
It was
otherwise,
it was a pullback. It was a pullback because it just shot right back up to the liquidity. But again, the market was so choppy and it was doing that FOMO. So I was only one contract. If I had, like Shark was saying, I have to get comfortable of adding more contracts. So I didn't want, because right there I would have just took out one contract and then leave a runner. So I'm not too comfortable with that yet. I just got to get more comfortable in sizing up. So that's why I didn't want to give back my wins. So that's why I just exited out. And I was looking to go back in, but it shot up so quick where I didn't get a chance to get back in.
okay. All right. Yeah, that's terrific. Yeah. So that's two things that you just mentioned. Yeah. Number one, you got in, and you also were disciplined and you got out when the CVD actually hit, spiked up to the very top. So that was great. And, that could have been, like you said, another entry with that trend break. As it pulled back and hit the bottom of that trend, you could have just entered right in and it moved right up to the liquidity. But yeah, I mean, using the one contract, I think, is definitely a confidence builder. So well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would echo that. Well, what can I add more that Stan and Vinny already covered? I think first off, like with Stan's comment, like it would be good to see more here, because it's hard to kind of give feedback on a kind of this like V pattern in here, and not knowing what came before, and then I actually think, like what Vinny was just saying, like, I mean, this is where it dropped from up here, and this is where you took profit on the way back. Great, fantastic. I mean, there's more selling in here than there is buying. They are in control in this, at least from this view in here. So I think this is a great take profit. I don't have any problem with that from in my book. But like I said, it's kind of harder to see the bigger picture context in here. And you just build confidence right here. You took your profit, you move on to the next one and look for it. You might have gotten a nice pullback in here and for another. There's a couple of things I also kind of would want to comment on is the higher time frame level. Now I know you're right around the figure here, 5,700. It's how good of a level is this for taking a trade? It's kind of hard to determine, and I just don't see much in here. And then in terms of liquidity, like it's just odd here. There's high liquidity in here. There's some liquidity down here. A little bit transacts, but like you mentioned, the exhaustion. So you're looking for those buyers. You take the opportunity. You see that volume come in, and you take it off up here. I think it's great. It's definitely hitting a single. And look for the next one and build that confidence. Just the higher time frame context is kind of missing. The other thing too that I find actually a little more concerning or worrisome is this isn't the setup that you've been going over. You're a VWAP trader. You're looking at order flow around VWAP. And like you mentioned, your VWAP's way down here. So I'm kind of wondering what the setup is that you're looking at here.
Well, my initial thought, I was waiting for it to go down to VWAP and for the bounce back up. So once I saw that the exhaustion and the very little volume dot, I just took it as an opportunity. But my first thought in my frame was waiting for it to go down to the VWAP.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, just as long as, like, it's not just you've got something, like you've got a setup behind it. And like, Stan had said, maybe developing out the setups checklist. And so that way, like, you are only taking trades that meet or match your setup, and not other trades because you saw this or that. And now, like I said, I don't know if that's the case here or not. You just reasoned about it, like you're looking for it to trade down to here, but maybe this was close enough. I don't know. But just trying to take good trades and filter out ones that don't match your setup or your trading style.
Got it.
But other than that, like, and if this is a scalping type of thing that you want to do and you want to follow, hey, I don't have any problem with that at all. I think it's a fantastic example of you do have some nice things in here. Well, high liquidity in here. It would have been great if it was more higher liquidity in here, and then it peaked through. You got your exhaustion in here, then you got your buyers. Then you could look for the move here. And I would have managed it exactly the same way, to be honest. So yeah. Anyway, that's all I got for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, great trade.
Yeah. Anything more, Stan or Vinny? You guys want to cover?
Maybe the trading statistic, when you will have a checklist to be the ability to improve it, to have better data on it. That would be a good add-on to consider.
So are you asking for feedback from me?
No. I mean, for trading is life.
Okay.
I mean, that will be good too when you will develop your checklist to do the trading statistic. To have a better understanding of the data for your strat.
Yeah. Makes sense. Let's see. And Vinny, anything else you want to follow up with?
No, I think everybody's doing a great job in here. I see Jim Z, Jay in here, DN Matter. I mean, I see their posts. I mean, they're just fantastic. I really like the camaraderie with everybody in the room, exchanging ideas and throwing it back and forth. Yeah, the checklist is number one, and also the journal. I know I need to update my journal, but yeah, those two things just come to mind off the top of my head. But otherwise, that's it. Great job, everyone.
Yeah, good session. Really great trading. I mean, like, God, you guys are just every week, better and better, refining the process. It appears to me you guys are getting a lot out of it and taking some really refined trades. So, really kudos to you guys, and great work. So anyway, yeah, let's wrap it up. We'll call this a session, and we'll catch up next Thursday. Don't forget, it's those that are putting it this content into their spreadsheets, this is why we go over it, is because this is where we know that they are adding into the program and documenting their trades, and this is our location to go and find it. So that's why we're covering it. So if you want to get covered, then you'll have to partake in that. And you can see in here, like Shark Baloo, he's got his setups here for March, and listed them out. He's got the link in here from Discord, etc. Laura as well, like God, she's got fantastic list in here for March, and very consistent, and well documented. So this is the kind of quantitative threshold we're talking about, and just one a day is really all that matters. You can see Laura puts in maybe one or two a day, depends, but that's it. So anyway, thank you everybody. We'll wrap it up, call it a session, and we'll welcome to the new guys, Jace, Pips, and D. You guys are off to a really great start, and we'll see you guys next week. All right. Yeah. Thanks everyone. Take care.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.